I'm Genevieve Bargello.
And I'm Eileen Wurst.
And this is CFB News. While there were many interesting historical finds in the most recent Clatfartburg archaeological dig, perhaps the most interesting mystery was something we never even expected. The researchers found a Greneth bean alarm clock, which was a now defunct mascot of a Clatfartburg local restaurant. One of the college students working on the project was assigned to do a deep analysis of the Greneth bean alarm clock, and while they weren't expecting much at first, what they found inside was quite the surprise. On to Eileen Wurst at the scene.
Thank you, Genevieve. I'm here with a college student whose name is insignificant, but the finds are quite significant. Inside of Greneth bean alarm clock, a box of matches, and a blank piece of paper. At first it seemed weird and uncertain about why these items would be in a battery-operated clock. Matches are not needed after an hour of research. Not needed to start Greneth bean. But something isn't as it appeared. As a match was struck, an idea struck the brains of the researchers. Could this be related to Della Noir? An expert from A Hunch for Lunch came over to review the matches and the piece of paper, and by hitting the match to strike it and create fire due to science, they put the paper gently over the fire, somehow not burning it, a science that I cannot understand and can only possibly describe as magic. But soon through the burn images came out a bunch of numbers. I have been told they are not a telephone or a social security number, so I can't say them, even though I won't, because then you might find something secret, because they believe they are. Longitude and latitude put together to create coordinates. Now, did Della Noir leave a geocache? Is this where her cache is left? We do not know. We do believe that we might be submitting this to the quote-unquote gay Hardy Boys, known as Cole Papageno and Dale Iron Alexander, who have become quite local legends, figuring out this mystery. But until then, tick-tock, the alarm has gone off. Della Noir, the mystery continues. This has been CFB.
Yes. News.
Was that a yawn or a lawn?
We're just keeping that. That is going to be the intro.
Oh,
I want you to know that's your intro.
Well, I need to go touch grass. I need to reconnect with myself, re-enter my body. And I don't want any grass. I want some good grass, but not marijuana, because I need to stay focused right now. Felicia, it's about time that we discussed some lawns and the beautiful yards of Clatfartburg, because if we know anything about Clatfartburg is that they love awards, they love some competition, and they love nature.
And they love a theme.
And they love a theme. So combine this all together, and what do you get? You get the best yard award, the best lawn, whatever this version is.
Yes.
If you ever lived in the suburbs, you know that this is the thing that exists sometimes. I have lived in a neighborhood when someone won the most beautiful lawn, and it was a big deal. People in the Midwest really care about their lawns. They get their little steamrollers out. I watched as my neighbor had this like a steamroller thing to like press the grass. I'm like, dude, you live in a neighborhood. You're not on an acre. Like, what are you doing? But they care a lot. And so I would love for us to explore. Maybe we have, our top 2 people who are competing to win. Yes. And people who care about the lawn, they care about it a lot. The way that some people really go into Christmas lights and they start trying to outdo each other.
Definitely.
And I think along the way, I think there's a narrative we can play with these characters too. Why do they care about the lawn? How far will they go? And if they win, was it worth it?
Wow.
So
I just had a wild flashback to, like, you ever flashback to weird cable television you watched when you were like 8,
Yes.
There was a show on one of the home improvement networks, I assume HGTV, that was like a Disney sponsored yard remake.
Oh.
So they would like do minor theme park theming in people's backyard. like casual, more like resort theming. Not like theme park, not theme park, like no rides or anything, but it was like resort pool.
Would they like go up to a shrub and be like, now it's Mickey Mouse?
Yes, exactly.
Oh God, because see, that sounds like it'd be fun. And then you'd get it and you'd be like,
well, now that's my life.
That's my life every single day. I'm about to have people over for book club. And
yeah, 8-year-old me thought it was sick as hell.
Oh, I bet.
Adult me, not so into it. I just need to look this up real quick.
Yeah, please.
Disney yard. My yard goes Disney. All right. That's what it was.
I feel like they could have named it something better.
Wow. These are not great. HGTV and Disney Parks join forces to surprise lucky homeowners with eye-popping backyard makeovers. They never thought possible. How many episodes of this were there? 2011. 2 seasons?
2? Was it like 5 episodes each?
I don't know.
Because I can't imagine this going to the double digits.
Oh, yeah, they were just making like fully like mini water parks. Oh, they put a train in somebody's backyard. This is deranged.
Wow. I think that's great inspiration, though, because I really think, like, sometimes we try to put some reins on not being too fantastical with Clatfartburg because, again, like, it's not like this is, like, a different dimension where magic can happen and stuff like that. But sometimes I think we can really lean into goofy camp. And maybe over the years, instead of it just being, like, a crisp lawn, beautiful flowers, that wasn't enough. Now we have lawn ornaments. Okay.
Yes,
you
for
know,
sure.
And then that just kept progressing until now it's, like, you have a story on your lawn.
Remember, in Clatfartburg, animatronics are like a public good. Okay?
Yes.
As we remember, underneath the Clatfartburg Public Library, there is a warehouse of animatronics available for rental. So it is entirely feasible for someone to have multiple animatronics in their yard.
I have an idea.
Okay.
That might be fun, but we can shoot it down if need be. I would like there to be a man named Mr. Edgars who really has always wanted to be Mr. Rogers, but just misses the mark. And people don't love it. And with Mr. Edgars, with his lawn, he wants to try to recreate the random tiny puppet thing, the little like mountain, but maybe a different thing. He's like entering a different world. And maybe it's mostly just whatever he's created. He walks around in his sweater and he tries to find morals to share with children or something.
I like this.
But it's mostly just him walking around his lawn practicing. So he just looks like this old man muttering to himself as he talks to lawn ornaments.
Me and my apartment, yeah.
He might get his grandson to try to like film him to make a YouTube series since, you know, there's a gap now. Mr. Rogers, rest in peace. Mr. Edgars could step up to the plate, you know. He tried to take over for Steve for Blue's Clues, but decided stripes didn't look good on him. Solid colors were best. You know, Mr. Rogers owned red. Mr. Edgars, I don't know, what color should he be?
Blue.
Perfect.
He's not going inventive. I'm really interested in somebody, this is the idea I had, which is drawing on the whole animatronic well, of somebody who like really wanted to do, because this is what like it's the kind of shit that 9-year-old me would dream up, where it's like, and my yard will tell the story of some like really niche thing.
Ooh,
that's like extremely complicated. But the problem is like there's not animatronics for what they're trying to tell. So it's very like hodgepodge together. And like, so the way you see the same character through multiple scenes is they're all wearing red. That means it's the same person. Do you know what I mean? Like,
gotcha. Okay. And is this kind of like when you're walking through a museum and you see the different scenes kind of set up, except they're animatronic? Okay, perfect. I love this.
So it's like, I don't know. I feel like we have to pick a story that we could, I mean, like Frankenstein could be a good one. That might be a lot though. Trying to think like,
yeah.
What's possible?
What about like something that has like multiple sequels that are just horrible and they never should have existed? Like, this isn't a good example, but like Swan Princess, and then there's like 7 more movies, and at some point they become horrible 3D animated kind of thing.
Maybe
and
they're
like
doing Pride and Prejudice.
But it's all the different Pride and Prejudices.
So yeah, so it's so she's actually doing a narrative analysis within her yard of the subtle narrative changes between the Colin Firth, the Matthew McFadden, and the original novel. And she's doing this all through animatronics, and this is her thesis.
And she does have one scene where Darcy and Bingley share a little smooch. Nothing scandalous, nothing too scandalous, you know.
And she said that's to represent the fan fiction community.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a
work
famous
lives on.
erotica version of Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, wow.
I forget what it's called, but it's apparently like, I have to look this up. I really don't want to look this up, actually. I'm doing it.
There's no shame.
There's no shame, and honestly, Google keeps trying to push like diaper ads on me for some reason, and I would really like to just not. Oh no! Well, I'm not finding it because the first option I found was "Spank Me, Mr. Darcy," and it definitely was classier than that. So I guess we'll just leave it at that, and everyone just trusts me.
I believe you.
Oh no! I don't know why I thought I was immediately going to find the classy version.
Did you type classy in front of it?
I guess I just wrote erotica, Pride and Prejudice.
I'm going to type in classy Pride and Prejudice erotica.
Oh, okay, yeah. And maybe I think I originally found this on Amazon.
Bargain with the devil. Pride, prejudice, and wicked pleasure. A higher education.
Like an unpleasant sort of man. I was thinking it would be that title. That wasn't the book I had like come across.
Sexy Mr. Darcy collection. Sensual Pride and Prejudice.
Oh my god, can she do something stupid for Pride Month?
Oh my god.
Just little rainbow ribbons in their hair. She's like, it's Pride Month. Or she just tries to make it about her. Like, she's not homophobic. She's just like, oh, Pride. Oh, this is a fun marketing. Pride and Prejudice Month. Like,
yeah. No, but I think that's the whole thing is, like, she's having to do, like, a lot of jerry-rigging to make this all make sense. Like Elizabeth, or... What are the names of the characters?
Elizabeth and Fitzwilliam Darcy. Okay.
So, like,
Lizzie
Bennett in, like, the last panel is, like, the ghost of Christmas Future. Like, it just, like, it doesn't really make sense. Like, it's just, like, Mr. Darcy's fully Snoopy in one of them.
Yeah, because it's just whatever parts she's found.
Yeah, but she's, like, put a suit on him. She's trying. She's, like...
Maybe when the and
inspectors... she's like, actually, and I want to be clear, this was not her intention. This is the reasoning she's come up with to justify it to herself after the fact. She's like, well, it's actually because I'm comparing this, like, I'm doing a metatextual analysis and I'm looking at all these different things. Me using these different characters shows the malleability of the original work.
Do you think she might be a lit professor at Clatfartburg?
Oh, yeah. I've been reading a lot of academic articles recently, so I feel like this has really...
I love it. Okay,
I read a paper today that kept using the word palimpsest, and I was like, stop.
Like, sometimes you find a word and you get so excited, and you're like, I have to fit this in everywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
And I was like, I need to say palimpsest today before I go. Back of your last name, Miss Palimpsest.
Miss Palimpsest. And then she's like, okay, students, time to go through my yard, and you're going to write papers about it. And I hope you really enjoy it. But everyone's taking, like, dumb little selfies with them, and she gets very frustrated. She's like, the flashes will decrease the integrity. Oh, God, has she tried to, like, paint over, like, like, has she tried to put a human face on Snoopy?
She put a Michael Myers mask on Snoopy.
And that's like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I forget her name. Lady Catherine or whatever. The evil Lady Catherine. Like, that's Snoopy with the fucking hockey mask. God. That's something.
So I don't think she wins. I don't know if she's even top two. But I enjoy her.
Yes. And I think for the inspectors, I think she is able to somehow get Jim Parsons animatronic.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, she pulled a lot of strings.
No, he'd be the priest. I'm sorry.
Oh, of course.
I don't remember his name. I am not a Pride and Prejudice scholar.
Mr. Collins.
Mr. Collins, thank you.
Boiled potatoes. These are lovely boiled potatoes. I love him.
If you want more of our Pride and Prejudice thoughts, we did do a commentary track on it a while ago.
Yes. I might watch that tonight.
And I've clearly retained a lot. So.
That's clearly...
I've thought about watching the Colin Firth one just out of curiosity for cultural context.
Honestly, and I think it's worth to have both in your arsenal. Yeah. People get very feisty about either or. I think they both can exist.
That's what I think.
I think Lizzie Bennett's better in that series than in the movie. But I prefer Matthew McFadden. I cannot imagine Colin Firth as a sex symbol. I listened to him sing Mamma Mia. It was just, it's hard for me to like, that wasn't my first intro.
Yeah, Colin Firth is another one of those like male celebrities that I'm like, do you need a blanket? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's dad, not daddy.
Yeah, so. I'm just like, do you need a ride to the airport kind of energy? Yeah. I don't know.
No, I understand that, weirdly enough.
I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know if I'm saying it to him or he's saying it to me.
Yeah.
I think I'm just saying he seems platonically nice. Is the vibe. He's giving
I go, oh, your shirt's off. Do you want to change? Do you want to put something on?
Are you hot? Do you need me to turn the air up?
Are you okay? Okay, it's fine. That's fine. Yeah. And then here's a blanket. Do you want some applesauce? Yeah,
exactly.
I understand. Yeah. Well, I imagine that lawn is pretty nice. We can explore Mr. Edgar's lawn. I don't think he's gonna have a beautiful lawn either. And maybe the winner, just, it's like maybe simplicity is really what needs to win at the end of the day. But Mr. Edgars, he's taken all his pills this morning. He remembered all 12. And he goes outside and he has, I think he did create a little train that it goes through his wall to the backyard.
Oh, wow.
And
like through a doggy door or
just like that,
smash
that's probably exactly what he did. He installed a doggy door. His dog is not allowed to go through it.
Oh, wait, I realized I was thinking a train for human people. So that would make way more sense.
This is model train.
Model train. That makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
Oh my God, that'd be crazy.
You have to lay down,
like, right by your. It's like
down.
In the mudroom, and then you have to squat down, and then you just have to like hope you fit in the tunnel hole. Hope you fit. Here we go. He got stuck. Maybe he did try that, and he was like, that wasn't good. I need to fix it. So his grandson helps him out a lot. So he's creating his video to submit to the Beautification Association of Clatfartburg, and he's trying to get tips. On like, what should I do on camera? And his son's like, hey guys, this is so exciting. And he's like, well, hello, everybody there. When he tries to do a little dance, and it's not charming. He's not endearing. Yeah. I want to make this clear. He does not have Mr. Rogers' energy. I think Mr. Edgars is trying to make up for maybe being a lackluster parent, and now he's trying to have a relationship with his grandchild, which is good, but this doesn't come to him naturally. Mm-hmm. I don't know why I made that so deep suddenly. It's just a lawn.
Yeah. You really got into it.
Should I just read Blades of Grass by Walt Whitman right now? Should we just go?
We just start like writing like experimental poetry about I'm writing an academic article. You're writing like a character study on the perils of fatherhood and American manhood,
and generational trauma, and how it can can you come back from it, and is it ever too late to change? But he's rolling. He's bopping along. And he's like, at this first stop. Now, I think he's expanded. Now, I am going to say this, guys. It's been a really long time since I've seen Mr. Rogers. All I remember is the little train, the horrifying puppet out of the fake little mountain. And then I know we'd go into a story, but I don't remember if there was full-on acting. I remember he would feed fish. I don't remember much of this. So just know this is loosely inspired. Everything else I know is not related.
Well, this is perfect because I picked Pride and Prejudice despite me knowing very little about it. I was realizing as I began to talk. I was like, you don't know this very well, do you?
I'm like, did I just want to have an old man in a sweater? Walking around. Is that really just what it was? And maybe
I was like, did you just want to use the word palimpsest? We're on the same wavelength here.
Perfect. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So I really wanted him to have a koi pond, and he looks in and he goes, he says something stupid. He like looks at the camera and goes, now kids. And it takes him a long time to get down. It's like really scary. His grandson's like, you don't have to sit, Grandpa. There's a bench right there. You don't have to get on the ground. He's like, I'm going to do this, okay? I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it right. Because I'm the best grandfather ever, and I'm going to be the grandfather of everybody on the web. Everybody. And he's like, okay, I'm ready to go. Now everybody look over here at my koi fish. They're not koi fish. What's a dumb fish? They're beta fish outside. Can they even handle that? Can they do that?
Absolutely not.
No way. So maybe
Maybe his grandkids were given the task to buy him fish, and he has not updated his glasses prescription recently, so they got him like those little fish that just kind of like you push a button on them and they just kind of move around.
Because I imagine he's like, these are my little fish. I tell them pause, and they do. Look, they're not moving. And that's the power of boundaries. I learned that 6 months ago. Boundary making. When my child told me, hey, stop hanging out with my kid and telling him lies about me. And I said, look, you did steal from an H&M when you were a teen. And you chose something ugly. I'm telling him if he's gonna steal well. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Granson's like, we gotta cut this. He's like, anyway, that's the koi pond, moving on. Now, kids, what's another hard thing to deal with? Emotions. You're so right. So we're gonna come to the face tree. The face tree has different faces plugged all over it. And I'm trying to think of, like, did he use different Mr. Potato Head faces? I think he's painted some. It is the spookiest tree. It looks like a tree you find in the middle of a swamp, and you're like, I have stumbled across a dark, dark entity, and I need to leave now. Yeah. I will swim through alligator-infested waters. Alligated water. Ooh, is that a girl group? Alligator, chomp, chomp, chomp. Crocodile, see you in a while. Alligator, later, bitch. Ah-na-na-na. Ah-na-na-na.
I'm just like wide-eyed with wonder at what you're doing on this episode.
I really have no idea what I'm saying, and I have not had any of this pre-thought. Everything is fluidly happening in this moment.
Yeah, it's I'll be honest, I could just sit here and listen to you to Mr. Edgar shit on his son for hours. It really brought me a lot of joy.
One of them is cut out of his son's face.
Yeah.
And it's like around the back. And he's like, now you're going to see all these different faces. And you see there's different. Some of them are smiling.
And you can look at each of the faces and turn it around and see what the emotion is. So this one up here, and he picks up the one of his son. Oh, this is the idiot emotion.
Emotion of idiot.
Idiot.
Oh, you know what's funny? Here's another one. It's another photo of him. This one is arrogance. That's a big word. Can you spell it? Arrogance. Arrogance. Look at the face. Memorize it. Look at every detail. If you see this face on town, that's
There's
an arrogant
one more up here.
Idiot.
Oh, this one I think says ungrateful.
It's just ungrateful. That's the middle child.
Yeah.
I said, now this face right here. This is a mold of my late wife's face. Because she's late everywhere she goes. She's still alive. She lives in a different place, though. She doesn't enjoy the yard. And I said, it's me or the yard. And she said, neither. Which I realized was an argument, maybe not best made. But this face, this is the face of, maybe I could have made this work out. And is this the biggest regret of my life? Maybe I should have tried better. And I could have gone on to do better things than become Mrs. Edgars. But this is the lot I've had in life. And my children won't speak to me due to my husband. And I just need to go be by myself and live with my other 3 friends and have my Golden Girls energy happen. Anyway, kids, that was the wall of faces. Yeah, and then I think the last place I want to take. I don't want to take up too much time with Mr. Edgars.
I mean, we can spend all the time with Mr. Edgars you want. I don't think anyone's complaining.
Okay. So Mr. Edgars then goes over to his mountain, the little mountain. Now, if you guys don't know this, imagine like a mini golf mountain created. I guess that's the best, but like small. Like this is gonna maybe go up to hip, but it's gonna be kind of on a table, so you can be like face to face with the mountain. Maybe it was a castle, Elaine. It was a castle. I was thinking it was a large rock, but okay. And isn't a castle just a defined mountain?
Yeah.
So
my cat really has a lot to weigh in on this.
Now, you might be hearing some meowing from this castle. This is Mrs. I Want a Cat. Do you have a good cat name for me?
Oh, hold on. Let me think about weird shit I read in books in the last week. Axiom.
This is Mrs. Axiom. That's a big old word. I didn't name her. My wife did. My late wife. Even though she's alive. Now, Mrs. Axiom over here, you're hearing all her meows. She owns this castle. This is the naughty castle. When Mrs. Axiom comes over to my couch and she starts scraping on the couch, it reminds me of my son when he was a child. And as a child, him just constantly pulling on my pant leg going, Papa, can you please just give me a hug? And I said, men don't hug. Go punch a tree. Go eat some dirt. Go get grit, you know? Mrs. Axiom has more grit than my son. But you know what? It's okay. Having Mrs. Axiom is almost like having my son here. They're both pussies. And the grandson's like, you can't say that. He's like, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Or kitten. Anyway, this castle, it's a fun time, though. Even though sometimes it's the cat prison. I mean, I use that loosely. It's actually gorgeous, and he opens it up. It's actually like this beautiful cat palace. And Mrs. Axiom's like, in like a weapon chamber. And she's got a nice little bed. But it's like the toys, the cat toys are all like axes and like catapults. Is 8 pounds really heavy for a cat?
No.
How about 12?
No.
How about 16?
Are you looking for chunk or just large?
Chunk.
Like, you're looking at, like, 18.
Okay. 18.3 pounds.
I'm thinking she's big to begin with.
Yes. This is a giant black cat with one mitten, one little white toe, and wearing a pink collar. This castle, I think there's also weird little jars. He just tried to decorate it. He's like, I don't know if I want this to be a cellar or not. So there's just tiny unopened jars of like horseradish and like Dijon mustard. And but like really gross Dijon mustard, the kind that's almost like hardcore brown with grains in it and stuff.
Wow, okay, yes.
And that's just like also filtered there. And the cat is just knocking the shit everywhere. She's like, Mrs. Axiom, no, you're making a mess. What are you doing, you silly kitty? And he's like, okay, grandson, let's put him on. Let's put Mrs. Axiom on the leash. Let's take her out for a walk. So now Mrs. Axiom's walking around with Mr. Edgars. And the castle really was just to show off that he could do something really cool with a cat.
Yes.
You know, so it didn't go well. But yeah, and then I feel like I want like one more thing. Like, what would be a really good, what's his feed the fish moment?
Well, you know, we had the feed the fish. What's another like a routine thing he could do every day? He could rake the leaves, but by creating all of this, he's removed most vegetation from his property.
He's accidentally created like a Zen garden in a way, but just dirt. So
he kind of like forces his grandson to like sprinkle leaves on the ground for him to then rake up, you know?
Hey, okay, for the next scene, I'm going to need some leaves. Now, last time when I bent down by the koi fish, that really hurt, and I'm going to need to stand up for a bit, so you can go and toss some leaves. None of the orange ones. Keep them green. I have a color scheme going. I'm sorry, you wouldn't understand. Your father never taught you style. Look at what you're wearing. Your father let you down. I'm sorry. I should have been there.
That's what happens when you steal from H&M.
That's what happens when you steal from H&M. Do better.
At least steal from a JCPenney's.
Go to a Tractor Supply. Do something.
Steal something worthwhile in your life, like a real job.
Or like my wife. She was engaged. Stole her right up. That was great. Good old time. That's how love works. It's just ownership.
Wow.
Until you lose them. Anyway, so I'm gonna have this rake here, and I've been told this is like a Zen garden, and I thought that'd be fun for you, Gen Z.
Sure.
I heard there was a 19-year-old that's gonna be on this panel, so I just wanted to connect with you. And as I'm raking through here, we're gonna comb through our past, and we're gonna think about things that are okay and not okay. You know, for example, that one time growing up when you know I made a friend. Making friends is good, you know. And some of us are bad at making friends, you know, like my son, for example. Absolute fucking loser.
Always
Sorry.
struggled, always struggled.
Always struggled. Absolute idiot. He'd walk around and he'd just trip over nothing. I'm like, no wonder. They smell. You're a weakling. I told him to go punch somebody. He went and he punched the janitor. I said, don't punch down. Punch up, you know? And he punched down. He just hit that little man's shins, you know? And it was a big... And then he didn't even get in trouble because they thought he started crying. I said, if you're gonna punch somebody, you own it and you get nasty. Don't be polite, you know? And that's what I learned when I went to prison. I had the most life-changing experience in prison. Now, I went in for a mixture of tax evasion as well as public indecency due to the fact that I wore an all-white man romper and jumped into the lake and then started walking around not realizing that children, here's another thing. Underwear is optional. Underwear can constrain sometimes, you know? And just as I'm raking these leaves, you know, the wind might blow and move my leaves away, and I have to keep raking them. But if I didn't have to wear the leaves like underwear, then they wouldn't have Oh, grandson, I'm getting a little lightheaded. This is hard. Can you thank you. I need my cigarette. Hold on, kids. Do you know, and here's another thing with a cigarette. Everyone's going to tell you to quit. But you know what? Sometimes I believe you have this phrase called treat yourself. And I'm going to say treat yourself. And if that happens to be a little tobacco, do it. You know, I think it's a fun activity. I get to hold something, you know? And it's not, my grandson keeps going, "Don't you go, Grandpa. I want you to stay here." I have 3 years left. That's all I'm thinking. You know, we'll see. I don't know. It's just a lot. Anyway. This is the leaves, and you know, now look how good this dirt looks. One of the aggressive birds comes by and just takes a giant poop in the dirt.
Oh, yes.
He goes, "That is my life right there when my son was born."
Oh my god! Oh my god!
And he's like, "Well, thank you so much for coming to my yard. I do have these rare, beautiful roses here in the middle. You can see them, all these colors. But that's the most important thing, I think. So we're going to go follow this choo-choo train back inside. And then I'm going to take off my slippers. I'm going to start watching me from Season 1, Episode 1 of Cheers. And I'm going to have me and Nanny Gansett. And we're just going to have a good old time. And I'm going to teach my grandson how to chug a beer. I started when I was 12. Why shouldn't he? So, thank you so much, and I hope I win this beautiful lawn award. Thank you.
Wow.
I feel like he's gonna win.
No, I don't think so. I feel like I think that might be Clatfartburg's first shit guy.
Oh, we did it. We did it.
We're adding the realism now.
Finally.
By adding a shitty father.
Feasting Hasty, I can never say his name. Feasting Hay is arguably, like, not a great person, but he has some endearable qualities.
No, this guy, he's got almost nothing.
This guy is, like, actively a horrible person. But it's hard, Mr. Edgars.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I don't think Pride and Prejudice should win either, which is the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, we can discuss Pride and Prejudice a little more.
What if down the block there's a yard and they've done that thing where maybe they've recreated like Pokemon wild grass and you're walking through it and they have set up all of their chickens to be dressed as different Pokemon.
Wow. Okay.
Amongst maybe other things, and there are Poke battles you can have. I don't want to have any cockfights. Let me alter that. But maybe there's like, I don't know. I think it'd be fun to have Pokemon fights, just not with actual animals.
Yeah.
That animal ring gets busted later. But maybe there's something like that, and then or maybe there's just like literally, it's just a simple lawn. There's a petunia.
Yes.
You know, there's a gnome village.
That would be lovely. There's a lot of those archways with flowers.
Yes.
Flowers. Maybe there's a fairy door or two.
Yes. Oh, that's good.
A fountain, mayhaps.
Yes. And then can there be those little jet things, like the water, so where they like squirt the water? It looks like it's just like hopping along these different jets, kind of thing. I think they've got that all around.
So I think that person is going to win. So I think we're going to talk about the rejects, though, because I
like that. Yeah. They're going to win. Who cares? Welcome to my post-apocalyptic lawn. This is to represent what Clatfartburg will be like in 5 years if we don't stop the illegal fracking operation happening.
Yeah.
It's like they're using this more as a public service announcement than actually like I want to win. They're like, this is my platform. I'm talking to you, Victoria Tory Cobbleton, mayor of Clatfartburg. Stop the illegal fracking now. Otherwise, this is what Clatfartburg's going to look like. And they've just gotten a bunch of, like, ripped up cardboard.
And it's their yard that they are bad at taking care of.
Yeah. Now, they do have a cockroach clacker. They have a roach clacker, hanging from the tree.
Clatfartburg heritage. Like, there's like a what is the name? Oh, Wicked and Wicked. Do you remember Wicked and Wicked?
Wicked and Wicked.
The candle tarot reading store?
Yes.
I think that store does cockroach clacker workshops.
100%.
Yeah.
Now everybody make sure that you put your roaches and let them bathe in the full moon for 6 hours. Put them in a little jar. And once your cockroaches are charged, we will then begin the process of creating the clacker and going through and anointing it with good energy and vibrations. So that when they rattle in the wind, that's really just them attuning to the vibes sent out from your inner self, projecting through the version of yourself you hope to be. And also hopefully no more cockroaches. Now you do have to gather your own cockroaches.
I just thought of one. So there's one yard where they're like, we have a ride you can go on, and you get really excited.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like they show photos online on like their Instagram account, and it's like, oh, they've got like, some little statues and things like that. And it's like a little like kind of train you can go on, but it's not until you realize and show up that you just sit in a wagon while the dad just pulls you around.
Oh, this is like a grown adult sitting in it.
Yeah.
And this really struggling.
Dad trying to like get his reps in for the day.
Oh, but is this the hot dad of the neighborhood?
Maybe.
He mostly on shirtless. He's just really like super attractive. So you're like, okay, I'm going to sit in this wagon. This is goofy, but maybe he'll win simply because he's beautiful, but he won't. But it'll be like someone on the panel is having a moment,
They think about it. They consider it.
They consider it. I like that. Oh, hello, dears. My name is Mrs. Edgars. And I'm so excited to show you my lawn because I know my husband is so excited about his lawn. But wouldn't it be just the silliest thing if I created my own lawn and I won?
Is her lawn the good one?
Oh my God, please. I took all of the money from our retirement fund and I created this beautiful garden. I actually looked at some of the blueprints from Europe and recreated them in a more Americanized style.
And I think she's like actually, it's very much the thing of like, how did they end up together as a couple,
Yeah.
But she also does not like her children. So that's what really kept them going through.
I think shotgun wedding, first son is the son that he hates.
Yeah.
I think it's an environment of resentment.
Clatfartburg, a portrait of a marriage is what we're doing.
Oh no, it's a lot. But yeah, no, I would love for her to get that win simply to take it away from Mr. Edgars. Not that he ever had a chance, but just out of spite, she does. So, the whole classic thing of like, I will do everything I don't care how inconvenienced I am, I will,
I will destroy you.
Do everything to like destroy you. And that she did.
And she actually,
they're never going to get divorced though.
Ill in the process.
She got ill in the process?
She learned she had a real skill in the process.
Oh, I was like, what a twist. the classic drama where the woman wins and then they're like, and then she died. Oh, tuberculosis came and she went, die. Just like not a, no, she gets to survive. What about the...
I can't wait to hear this pitch.
Oh, I don't think I should. I was just like, what about the Butch lesbians down the street? And what do they want their lawn to be? What if it's a bunch of like bird houses, a bird village? Which would be kind of spooky. I don't really like to be by bird nests and stuff because they get mad.
Yeah, they do a bird village, but it's like such a bird village that it's like kind of
yeah. They've actually had to have animal control. They've narrowed it down that this is the house. This is the breeding ground, the main ground for the invasive bird species. They're simply thriving because they keep feeding them.
Yeah.
Narrowed it down by like, wait, what's this brand of bird seed? Who's been buying it? Like they've been like solving it like Typhoid Mary style.
Yeah, by analyzing the bird shit.
Yeah,
like,
so
all coming from this one house.
Yeah, and then like Bottacini is there. He's doing a little documentary. It's a little true crime podcast, about like where the birds go. One flew over the birdhouse. A mystery.
Hold on, I can come up with this. I'm good at these.
Yes,
Hold on.
Yes.
The birds flying too close to the sun.
Ooh.
Well, I like that. It's ominous and kind of means nothing.
And maybe it's because they like called their garden like the birds fly to the sun, or it's something like cutesy, and then like that's the twisted version. So in actuality, these birdhouses are really nice and cute, but because of the invasive bird species,
their chances are low.
Coated in poop. It's just God. They're having to go out there with a hose every day. And it's
power washer.
This thing that was beautiful has just become this plight for them. And now also everyone is like angry about the birds. Right. And they're like, we don't know what to do because we love our bird village. And like they're torn because they're like, we love birds. Why? What do we do about this invasive species? It's hard to say.
Exactly.
Hard to say. What about a lawn that's just like sand?
I like that. Sand. They were like, I wanted the atmosphere of beach in my yard.
I want to create my own beach.
Somebody has done that, I think.
Oh, yeah. They're like, look, the lake gets really busy. And sometimes I just want to, I don't want to go all the way to the nudist corner of the beach. Sometimes I just want to be nude in my backyard. So what I've done is created my own beach. And you'll see that I've gathered some of the original lake water. Though through the water cycle, it's probably rotated out. So I go back there on occasion to get a cup or two. But it's in that back corner, and I'll dip my feet in there. And I get viciously sunburned sometimes. But that's the lake experience.
Yeah.
That's the lake experience.
Sometimes I sit out there with an inner tube. Is my butt on the floor the whole time? But it's the atmosphere.
So I'm having my mojito while I'm just chilling with my little tube. And he's just like doing that. Nobody else can partake in this. When they go check out the lawn, he's just there kicking his little feet in his little tiny butt pool. Mm-hmm. And it's just like really awkward. He's got ocean wave sounds. He's brought in live crabs. It's a fenced-in yard. He's brought in live crabs. And they are thriving. They're doing that thing where now that they've been domesticated, they're getting bigger and bigger. And it's spooky.
Yeah.
Not outrageously big, again, within reason.
Just
but like
a touch.
Bigger than you would want to have of a ton of crabs in a backyard.
Yeah.
And especially if you're not around where you would normally
I don't think I'd want a single small crab in my backyard.
No.
At least when they're big, I can spot them,
Things that used to happen to me when I lived in Charleston. Crab in the backyard. Crab when I'm walking around. Walking fern. And I'm like, please don't touch that. It's a little crab. Little tiny crabs, You don't want them, though. You don't want them.
No, I don't.
Delicious. Anyway, wouldn't that be fucked up if he's like, and now crab cakes?
Yeah, it would.
But not from these crabs. Peasant crabs.
It wouldn't shock me if that guy did that, though, considering he has a backyard beach.
Yeah, he actually...
That's a Phineas and Ferb song. This is a Phineas and Ferb episode. What we are doing is a Phineas and Ferb episode, I'm not realizing.
Oh, wow. I never watched.
The whole concept is that they just do crazy inventions in their yard. And there was a whole episode called Backyard Beach and a song called Backyard Beach that goes, at the backyard beach, nothing's out of reach at the backyard beach.
Last year's winner had their award revoked.
Whoa.
Because the committee got together to discuss if their backyard, being mostly an intricate tree house, technically counted as lawn and yard, or because it was a certain amount of feet high in the air.
Whoa.
Does that count as a lawn? And this was complicated because they were like, well, trees count. And they were like, yeah, but like all the ornaments are very high up in the trees, the ornament being the house. You know, is this, so how much of this is actually like lawn putting together? Yeah. And this is, I don't even know if I have the answer here. I think this was very contentious. And obviously to win it and then have it revoked.
That would be devastating.
How bitter. How bitter.
And that's unfortunately how Mr. Edgars did get the prize last year.
Oh, gosh, yeah. They were like, well, we need to put somebody's face in the newspaper.
And people weren't really, not many people were entering.
No, this was you know,
and it was a little more restrained last year what Mr. Edgars was doing, and he didn't he didn't talk during the video. So they were like, well, this is a cute garden for children.
Yes, yeah. I just had that like little background like ding 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 kind of music as they just like looked at like, you know, his like little PowerPoint fade in and out thing. Yeah, and I think that was before the Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and I think maybe back then,
maybe
Mrs. Edgar they were still living together, so it had a lot of actual decent yard appeal beyond just Mr. Edgar's bullshit.
Yeah, because that's when the family came over to the Edgars, you know, main base, and then the big argument happened, and that's when wife leaves, son is officially mad. Mr. Edgars begins his plot to get his grandson on his side.
Yeah.
Which is wild. But yeah, I think Treehouse guy is mad. I think Treehouse guy is like, no. It's like, what if the Treehouse person was making like zip lines all across the neighborhood? They were like, off to get my groceries. Whee!
That sounds incredible.
That'd be wild. And then they were like, they were like, this is a zoning issue. There are so many illegal issues. It took a while to get found out because it sounds like this area has really big yards. So maybe he was able to kind of like
I think
sneak
this is
between
outskirts.
trees.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it took a while for people to catch on, but then they're like, what the hell is that? Someone was like, there's a monkey in Clatfartburg. Look at that, a gorilla. And this was a big thing, and this is still a big theory, and why people thought the thing in the woods might be this like beast. They were like, oh my god, it's here, you know.
Gotcha, yeah.
So, but it was really just Treehouse Man ziplining off to get his little soup. It was really hard bringing the groceries back via zipline, though. It was really absolutely ripped.
Well, yeah,
amazing
because you can't go back via zipline. You just have to climb.
He has like a power fan.
Well, yeah, because you'd be going uphill because the only way ziplines work are going downhill.
So he had to create two ziplines. One that's really tall from one angle and one that's really tall from the other. So he's like using the water tower as his base, and people are like, what is going on? Like,
do we have a vigilante? Is there Batman?
The tourist, like, oh my god.
And this is actually why he got rescinded, was because of a legal issue with the zipline situation, where they were like, you're essentially running an unauthorized ski lift at this point.
Zipliner is in zippity doo-doo right now. That's right. Coming to you.
And recent Clatfartburg news is Zipliner has found himself in some zippity doo-doo. Local officials have been cracking down on the backyard zipliners' X Games adventures. I don't know if they do that at the X Games, but I feel like they should.
I am down for it.
He's threatened if they do make him remove the zip line that he'll just put up slack lines between his apartment and not his apartment. Imagine if he was in an apartment.
He was in an apartment complex, and he took their tiny little dog park and made it his lawn, created this intricate treehouse. People were like, yes, let's go.
Hell yeah. He's threatened to install a slack line between his apartment balcony and the water tower, which he will be balancing on to bring his groceries back from the local store. I almost said Piggly Wiggly, but I realized I just like that name, and that would location block us. So
yeah.
Whatever the version of it is.
Crispy, crinkly, crispy, diggly wiggly, dig dog, boop boop.
We don't need to do it today.
Yeah. He is protesting by not wearing shoes for the foreseeable future. If he's grounded, he will be fully grounded. He will not be wearing shoes into any shops and will be turned away.
In recent news, a restraining order has been placed by local YouTube celebrity Mr. Edgars.
That zipline ruined the integrity of my village of of stories.
He kept dropping bread out of his basket into my koi pond.
My goddamn son just never stops with this shit, I'm telling you. He never stops. He was constantly climbing things to get away from me, as though that was supposed to do anything.
The most dysfunctional family in Clatfartburg. The Edgars. God.
He's like, Dad, I just want a zip line. And this was the Thanksgiving. He's like, Dad, I just want a zip line. He's like, what?
Edgar Edgars Jr. has pleaded guilty to his zip line manufacturing case.
His name is Edgar Edgars.
Edgar Edgars Jr.
The funny thing is, nobody else is named Edgar Edgars in the family. We just thought it'd be silly.
Yeah.
Actually, 3 Pomeranians before he was born. My favorite children, I will tell you. After having 3 favorite. I have a daughter, but women?
Wow, okay. I like that women can't be children to him.
Well, he's like, she's a disappointment because I don't know, it's a woman. This will never be a child. Born a woman.
God.
She came out with a spatula. Honey, she's wearing mittens. She kept scratching herself. She's wearing a spatula.
What?
She's about to make
what
some
are you
brownies.
talking about?
Mr. Edgars. Edgar Jr.
I don't like Edgar.
And we shouldn't. He's not meant to be liked.
So, to recap.
Yeah, of course.
This episode,
The very basic lore that we've created in this episode that totally is easy to follow.
It makes no sense about the lawn. So, there's a professor who's doing Pride and Prejudice in her lawn, but with
her name is
Snoopy.
Plastimonia. What is that word?
Palimpsest. Palimpsest? I think it's palimpsest. Okay.
Palimpsest, yeah.
Professor Palimpsest is making Pride and Prejudice, doing a metatextual analysis of the 3 different versions through animatronics, including Snoopy as the evil lady with a mask on. Okay. Then Mike Myers mask. Then you move on to Mr. Edgars, who's trying to do a Mr. Rogers type thing in the backyard. I feel like this episode needs this recap.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's doing...
It's becoming like a revenge story.
It's becoming like a revenge story. It's against his son, and then he has his grandson that he's trying to work in. There's a lot of disappointing things going on there. We have a beautiful yard, a little bit over, by his not ex-wife, who lives separately from him, but they refuse to get divorced, who genuinely has made a beautiful garden because she does not want Mr. Edgars to win the trophy again. Because Mr. Edgars won last year off of her hard work because she did a lot of gardening just as a hobby, and then he made a tour around that like showed off, the model train and all this stuff, and he was not the original winner because his son,
Edgar Edgars Jr.
was in an apartment complex making a fantastic treehouse that was beautiful and well admired, and he did some nice landscaping, so it won the award. But then the problem is he was running an illegal zip lining rig.
Which did accidentally made any kind of high ropes course or tree houses exempt from the critique of a lawn. So they could still be there, but he also kind of ruined it for anybody else.
Exactly. So then it became Edgar Sr.'s award.
Yes. Yep. And then the lesbians who had the treehouse backyard that was cute.
Birdhouse backyard.
The birdhouse backyard. That was really originally cute, but accidentally became the home base for the invasive bird species that is pooping so hard it's ruining the town clock. And people are scared as they run away from the flying massive bird poops. And so it probably had a decent chance, but it's just become this negative energy. And then there's man who wanted to recreate the beach lake.
I almost forgot about him, actually.
Yeah, well, they're like, something else is sinister here, and we don't want to be here anymore.
Deal with that. Yeah,
we don't like this.
Wow. So it's a really straightforward episode. So as we know, this year Mrs. Edgars will win, and I think she's going to start kind of having a monopoly on this competition because she's genuinely gotten really good out of spite for her husband. But this episode will be titled The Lawns of Clatfartburg, but I would say an alt subtitle is The Edgars Family Values.
Ooh.
Should it be called Clatfartburg Lawns, Edgars Family Values?
My favorite thing is anytime we put Clatfartburg in the title, it cuts off. All people see is Clatfartburg
I know, and I'm like, well, then what's the point? So
you know
probably
what?
the lawns of Clatfartburg.
Yeah, I was going to say, people know it's Clatfartburg.
Also,
we don't even need to include it.
At this point, it's so impenetrable anyway.
The Beautification Association Lawn Awards.
I was
Edgar's
like, this
family
episode
values,
was not really that referential, and then I was like, you did tie so much in on the news broadcast.
It happened, but we started with a news broadcast. I don't know. I think you can maybe fake your way through some of it. I think I think this.
No, I'm talking about the Gwyneth Bean, Della Noir, Gay Hardy Boys.
Yeah, no, that
intro.
Is deep. Yeah, that is deep.
That's pretty deep. But the rest of it,
pretty deep. Rest of it,
I just always like to applaud us when we do something that's not entirely incomprehensible.
I was like 90%. Look at that, 90%.
Was 90% of it Elaine ranting as an old man? Well,
and
I was
arguably,
distracted
how
by
often
my
does
cat.
that happen in this podcast?
Quite frequently.
When Herbert Barch arrived, that really was.
Yeah.
The day I accidentally took 2 of my Adderall instead of 1.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's why that
that's
happened.
Herbert's origin.
Yeah, just a state of almost mania. But yeah, I mean, hey, I appreciate these lawns. I think this is just like the really weird street.
This is all happening on one street. I want to be so clear. Like, I think this is all like within walking distance of each other.
Yeah. The property value, so down. Actually, it's probably very mixed. It's like, oh, the beautiful house, but then like the sand house really devalues everyone else around it because there's just sand everywhere.
There's really high fences. Fences keep getting higher every year. It's getting to the point where it's like, this is a courtyard. This is like, these are walls.
These are like bunkers in a way. These are little stables, Yeah, we didn't even talk about the person who just has chickens in their backyard,
Yeah, we really left the Pokemon chicken cockfighting.
Yeah, it turns out she didn't submit.
Yeah, she forgot to submit. So.
She forgot to submit.
she wrote that much on the form and then never finished it. So
yeah, she was like too busy.
Not our fault.
Yeah, she just got a bunch of turtles to be Squirtle and stuff, so she's got to crochet the little outfits. But yeah, well, congratulations, Mrs. Edgars. May your family be reunited one day, or you know what? Maybe just things are as is, and I wish you the best.
Maybe we separate from Mr. Edgars. Maybe
we
Mr. Edgars
leave
from the situation because I think he's the problem.
Yeah.
Your ziplining son can be reformed.
And you don't have to live as Edna Edgars anymore. You can go back to being Edna Johnson. Edna Edgars. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Edna Edgars divorce Edward Edgars now.
The bonus episode is just the divorce proceedings.
God, that would be horrible.
We have to divide up our assets. What are the assets?
Well, thank you everybody for listening to this episode of Clatfartburg. If you have thoughts, opinions, headcanons about Clatfartburg you would like to share, send us an email over at clatfartburg@gmail.com. Yeah, this one
must have brought out something.
This has to have stirred something in you. Share the podcast with your friends. This one is approachable.
Yes.
I don't know if it necessarily gives a vibe for what all the other
You just say,
like.
hey, Della Noir, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about that part.
You don't need to worry about it.
Enjoy.
You can skip the news section. Honestly, I do every single time.
Worry about it.
I'm sorry, listeners. That's not what you sound like at all. I don't know what I became. I'm scared. I'm just like ever-present old man. Yeah, sorry.
If you want more content from us, you can also check out our Buy Me a Coffee. I just put out the commentary track for Impromptu, which is a movie that I love.
That was so fun.
It's got Hugh Grant doing a Polish accent and playing the most pathetic wet blanket character. Mm-hmm. But likable.
The hair and wigs in that movie, whoa.
They are bold. Everything about the movie is like, wow, that was a choice,
Yes. So definitely fun.
If you're interested in that, check that out over on Buy Me a Coffee, which is at Clatfartburg.com.
Thank you so much for visiting and seeing these beautiful lawns.
Of course. Stay sunny, stay zippy on your zip line to your local grocery store.
I'm Edgar Edgars. They can never stop me. I'm gonna be ziplining forever. I hate you, Dad. Why
Bye.
did you let me?